Welcome back to Southeast Texas Weekly. Joining me, David Bradley with the State Board of Education. Good to see you, sir.
Good to be here.
Kind of a rookie almost. I mean, you must feel very lucky because we've got kind of a rookie here on the set. Strong conservative in the area.
Two hands behind my back.
Okay, I got you. Okay. Nathan Buddy Reynolds as well. Great to see you, sir.
Yes, sir.
What do you even make of this matter of Donald Trump and his success? He seems to be riding on an anti-immigrant sentiment in America. His polls continue to hold up strong. Are you in any way surprised that he's, as some of our previous guests have mentioned, that he's still holding strong in the polls?
Donald Trump is a master marketer. Always has been. He knows all the buttons to push and all the ways to get on television, which we all like, and that's what he's doing.
And you know, you wonder if you listen to the comments he's making, or if you look at his larger point. Do we have an immigration problem in the state of Texas, David Bradley?
Well, let me give you a little history lesson, Kevin. Back in the mid-1800s, when we all lived here under a Mexican flag, one of the biggest complaints Texians had was that Mexico refused to educate our kids. Take it all the way today, and all of a sudden we're educating all of their kids. 51% of our public school population is Hispanic in Texas. That's a stunning number. We have 5 million kids in public schools. More than 50% are Hispanic. And you know what? I could ask the question, but nobody will tell me how many of them are undocumented or illegal.
But you suspect there may be a large contingent, large group within the state of Texas that are undocumented immigrants, and Trump seems to be pushing on that. Is it dirty pool? I guess I'll say. Is it kind of the lowest denominator?
Well, one day, whether it's under Donald Trump, apparently it didn't happen under Barack Obama, or some future president or administration or Congress, the problem is going to have to be addressed.
The immigration issue.
Yes.
Well, but by that you mean the pathway to citizenship for millions of undocumented immigrants. That's what Nathan Buddy Reynolds would like to see in America.
Well, I want to make sure it's legal, and I don't want people coming across the border undocumented and unchecked.
Yeah. Trump attacks Bush, saying speak English when you're in the United States. Was that a low blow, so to speak, with Bush?
I think it. You know, I'm not a Republican, but I think it speaks well for Jeb Bush to be able to speak fluent Spanish to a contingent down there in Miami.
What about this question that there's been a new study? More than half of immigrants, legal and illegal immigrants, are on assistance of some kind in the United States. More than half. Should there be a change in U.S. policy in that regard?
The article that I read, probably the same one you did, said over half of the families have received some type of government assistance. And if you read further in the article, the suggestion was maybe we're taking in the wrong type people, because 73% of the immigrants who did not have a high school diploma or degree were on government subsidy or had received government subsidy, and that number drops to, I think, 51% if they had a high school education. So the point of the article was, let's take in let's be selective as to who we let in legally.
Legally?
Correct.
Right. Well, and that same article also went forth to say that actually, in terms of percentages working, if they were immigrant, they were working, on a higher employment rate than many other.
Well, just because they received a government subsidy or on welfare, so to speak, doesn't mean they're not working. The article also used a single-parent mother with 2 children making $12 an hour would qualify for government subsidies.
Fascinating story. Changing U.S. policy a good idea in your view? Is there too much use of assistance in America?
Well, you're talking about that social cost, whether it's Medicaid or Medicare, health care. But in education, if we extrapolate that number out, we spend $10,000 a year for public education between the state and the federal contribution. You multiply that, we have 5 million public school students, and half are Hispanic, and I don't know what percentage would be illegal. It's billions of dollars, Kevin.
Makes you amazed that Texas has any kind of surplus at all in that context.
And then the argument, you want to go back to Trump, and you talk about building a wall, and the first critic said, well, walls aren't effective. Well, why is it we have one around the White House?
What do we say to that, Nathan Buddy Reynolds?
wall may not stop at 100%, but it will certainly slow it down.
Would you support a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border?
Well, a wall
that
of
Trump has,
sorts, whether it's a wall
proposed?
of, we need
Yeah.
some protection.
Physical wall?
We have a sovereign nation, and we need to protect our borders.
Just seconds, 30 seconds. Is Joe Biden going to run for president? Has Hillary so fouled the nest that she's in trouble? Because would we not presume that Joe Biden would only, the vice president, would only run if he really thought Hillary was in trouble?
If Hillary took ill and had to drop out, I would expect Joe Biden would run. Otherwise, I don't think so.
Would he be as interesting as Donald Trump?
Oh, I think late night comics are just waiting impatiently for Biden to get into the race.
Jimmy Kimmel's laying awake at
Yeah.
night thinking of comments for Joe Biden.
Well, Carly Fiorina is in on the next debate. We'll talk about that and much more when Southeast Texas Weekly continues.